Life doesn't hand you your dream on a silver platter. It hands you raw clay, unshaped, unformed, and often messy. The people you admire, the ones living their dream lives, aren't luckier than you. They simply learned how to shape that clay into something extraordinary. The truth is, designing your dream life isn't a matter of chance. It's a matter of intention, clarity, and consistent execution. So let's talk about the blueprint. The first principle is radical clarity. Most people wander through life reacting, not designing. They chase careers they don't love, relationships they don't value, and goals they don't even want. Why? Because they never stop to ask the hardest question: what do I actually want? Not what your parents want, not what society celebrates, what you want. Grab a notebook and write down the life you'd live if fear, money, or judgment didn't matter. That's your compass. Without it, you're just drifting in circles. The second principle is design, don't drift. Look at architects. They don't stumble into buildings, they draw blueprints, then build brick by brick. Your life demands the same precision. Break your vision into pillars: health, wealth, relationships, growth, and impact. Ask, what would a 10/10 look like in each? Then create systems that make progress inevitable. If you want peak health, design your mornings around movement. If you want wealth, design your evenings around learning and execution. Systems beat willpower every time. The third principle is courageous pruning. Designing your dream life is not just about addition, it's about subtraction. Cut out what doesn't align: toxic relationships, draining environments, old habits that feel comfortable but keep you stuck. Remember, every yes is a no to something else. Winners aren't the people who say yes to everything. They're the ones who have the courage to say no to almost everything that doesn't fit their design. The fourth principle is iterative growth. Your dream life isn't built overnight, it's designed, tested, and refined. Treat it like a living experiment. Try, fail, adjust, improve. Too many people quit because their first draft doesn't look perfect, but the truth is, no masterpiece was ever created in one draft. The secret is iteration. Fall in love with the process of shaping and reshaping until the life you're living starts resembling the life you once dreamed about. And finally, the fifth principle is alignment with meaning. A dream life without meaning is just a shiny cage. Align your design with service, contribution, and legacy. Ask, how does this life I'm building impact others? How will it matter when I'm gone? Because when your dream life is tied to something bigger than yourself, your energy becomes limitless. So here's the challenge: stop drifting. Grab the clay, shape it, design boldly, prune ruthlessly, iterate relentlessly, and align deeply. Your dream life isn't waiting for permission. It's waiting for you to start building. Clarity is the compass. Without knowing exactly what you want, you'll drift through life chasing what doesn't matter. Most people spend years of their lives climbing ladders only to realize the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. They work tirelessly, hustle endlessly, and sacrifice their peace in pursuit of goals that don't even belong to them. This happens because they never stopped to define what their dream life looks like. They borrowed visions from society, from their parents, from friends, or from what looked glamorous on social media. But clarity cannot be outsourced. It has to be discovered from within, because only you know what will truly light you up inside. Clarity begins with questions, the kind that strip away layers of noise and expectation. What do I actually want? What does success mean to me, not in theory, but in practice? If I removed the pressure of judgment, money, or fear, what would I choose to do with my time? When you answer questions like these with brutal honesty, you start to see patterns emerge. Maybe it's freedom of location. Maybe it's a career that uses your creativity. Maybe it's building wealth to provide security for your family. Or maybe it's dedicating yourself to service and impact. The point is, clarity gives you a North Star. Without it, you're wandering in the dark, mistaking motion for progress. Think of life like sailing a ship. The winds represent opportunities, challenges, and distractions. Most people set sail without a destination, so when the wind blows, they just go wherever it takes them. They might feel like they're moving fast, but speed without direction is meaningless. Clarity, on the other hand, is setting a course before you leave the harbor. It doesn't mean the journey will be smooth. Storms will come, winds will shift, but you'll always know where you're headed, and you'll adjust the sails accordingly. That's the difference between drifting endlessly and arriving at the life you envisioned. The power of clarity also lies in how it simplifies decision making. Every choice becomes easier when you know what truly matters. Opportunities that once felt exciting but irrelevant now get a polite no. Habits and routines align because you've eliminated the uncertainty of why you're doing them. Energy that was once wasted on indecision or comparison now flows toward deliberate action. Clarity cuts through noise like a sharp blade, removing the clutter and revealing the essence of what deserves your focus. But clarity isn't just about knowing what you want, it's about knowing what you don't want. Many people are afraid to admit the things that drain them because they fear judgment. But saying no is just as powerful as saying yes. When you're clear on what doesn't belong in your life, the relationships, the careers, the habits, the environments, you protect your vision from corrosion. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack on your journey. Clarity is the act of dumping out the rocks so you can move faster and lighter. Achieving clarity requires deep reflection and sometimes solitude. It demands stepping away from the constant noise of society, from the endless scroll of other people's highlight reels, and tuning into your own frequency. Journaling, meditating, walking in silence, these practices may sound simple, but they create space for truth to surface. Too often, we drown in external voices and confuse them for our own. True clarity is found when you silence the world long enough to hear yourself. Once you have clarity, something remarkable happens, confidence emerges. You may not know every step, but you know the direction, and that is enough. You stop comparing your journey to others because you realize they're playing a different game. You stop hesitating because every step forward is aligned with where you actually want to go. Clarity doesn't remove fear, but it gives fear a smaller voice because the vision is louder. Clarity also saves you time, the most finite resource you have. Every year spent pursuing something misaligned is a year you can't get back. That's why people reach midlife and feel a crushing sense of regret. They realize they've been running on autopilot, chasing someone else's definition of success. But those who gain clarity early live differently. They design with intention, they set priorities based on their vision, not on external validation. They measure progress against their own compass, not against the clock of the world. The truth is, clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from asking, reflecting, experimenting, and adjusting. It's less about finding the perfect answer in one sitting and more about continuously refining your direction as you grow. You don't have to know everything, but you do have to know enough to set the course. And every time you revisit your clarity, the picture sharpens, the vision becomes stronger, and the compass becomes unshakable.